Face recognition. How does it work? So within a few decades, facial recognition has gone from being some staple of highly advanced security system in movies and to existing all around us and even in the palm of our hands. The technology has been implemented in several ways. For example, some mobile phones use facial recognition to grant access, and some agencies like US are also using face recognition on database like driver license recognition. And then we have some fun like Snapchats filters that utilize facial recognition. Now there is a big difference between face detection and face recognition. In face detection, the computer is saying yep, that's a face, and in face recognition the computer says that yep, that's your face. Okay, so the ability to confirm identity is something our brain pick up on pretty quickly when we were young, but it's actually a pretty complex problem for a computer. So let's take a look at facial recognition and the science how it works. So when you think of human face, you probably think of a pretty basic sets of features. A face has eyes, a nose, a mouth, but obviously there are more to a face than just these features. In fact, to get a good idea of how complex this problem we get, you can draw a bunch of different simple faces. You will notice that they differ in a lot of factors like the width of nose, the distance between the eyes, and the shapes, the sizes of the mouth, and so on. Some facial recognition technologies look at up to 80 factors on faces to help the identity, unique features, and ultimate identities. These features got to be pretty detailed, observing things like the depth of the eye sockets, the height of the cheekbones, and the shape of the jawline. Of course, with so many detailed factors to be measured, some complication can arise. For instance, consider the problem of aging faces. After all, we get older, we look different. In order to work around this, computers has learned the computer have learned what features tend to go relatively unchanged no matter how old we get, and they look closely at these features. But even if we never did age, there would still be everyday complications. What happens if the computer tries to analyze your face, but you are not looking to the computer? So at the sensor or camera at precisely the same angle every time. This is something humans encounter on a daily basis, but never really have a problem with. For a computer, though, this can present a seriously complicated obstacle in detecting and recognizing faces. So engineers have found a few different techniques to work around this. For example, a lot of phones that utilize facial recognition will prompt you to move your face to the left side and right side in case of identification. You set up the facial identification system in order to know what you look like from the different angles. Other system utilizes 2D to 3D technology to map a 2D onto a 3D model to calculate what you would look like from different angles. Computer measure these factors down to scale smaller than computers measure these factors down to scale smaller than a millimeter in order to generate a face print, which is, as the name implies, is basically a fingerprint. But for your face, all these face prints have become incredibly accurate. These are able to correctly identify pupils with a near 100% accuracy to detect the minor differences in identical twins. As the technology is improved and become more widespread, the possibilities for its uses has grown up. Right now we use facial recognition every day for things like phone securities, but the technology is seeing more serious uses for like banks and even governments. In Japan, some banks are looking at implementing the facial recognition technologies into their ATMs as a security measure for verifying transactions. In the United States, important government agencies like ICE and FBI are using facial recognition to create databases from existing documents like driver licenses, etc. With whatever the use, we know that this technology is becoming more and more present in our daily lives, and it doesn't look like that it will be stopping. So as is the case with all things, it is important that we stay educated and informed about these technologies. After all, they are learning as much as they can about us. Thank you.